Mamisha say with Hakim Ziyech. Now the good news is that contrary to reports, Enra, na our media name say Hakim Ziyech has answered failing medicals, no, and no cresa. The first set of medicals, Enra, it take place in London. Galatasaray in 24 Sma or more team of medics, Emma Mubabe share player and into Mufino. After going through the various tests, Omo passes say he's fit to proceed to the next stage. The next stage is the boy needs to travel to Istanbul in the next 48 hours. In TNP say endeni ochna Ziyech ebe free baby or London, not in any chemo air Turkey. Then the second set of medicals and Sano was signing as a player of Galatasaray. They are getting him on board to replace Nicolo Zaniolo. So a one transfer from Turkey to England.
Yeah.
And then that transfer trigger a domino effect in another transfer from England to Turkey. Zaniolo balloon. Aston Villa. Sikana Galatasaray for nya no me pone kakra e dia Chelsea no musa kan Ziyech because Ziyech still has a contract with Chelsea, but Chelsea don't really want to keep him on board and pay him hefty wages. Enti omunya ya boy ni kwankombe jani mu amwako na wage bill na free, but there needs to be some kind of compensation. Into we no don't expect a massive transfer fee. Chelsea need him to be off their wage list. Player no mu hiano. So in a contract na kana, ideally if they terminate on better contract no maniska. But if a club comes in for him now, or mu raise or mu demands no for a huge transfer fee, so that club never foul boy and then a year wages in a BBS why okay for Chelsea. So it looks like the Ziyech chapter will be closed at Chelsea by the end of this transfer window. It was end of January. PSG flopped. Saudi Arabia failed medicals and then some controversies. But this time around, looks a idea airbim. Liverpool have acted fast and they have been swift with this operation, a 48-hour operation. Omo acting a sporting director or technical director. No FRE Germany, Stuttgart, no mutin komo about this Japanese player Wataru Endo. The conversation stepped up. Abra Klopp and Sube Muni player Nankasa Din Komo. They identified this guy to be their next target after missing out on their primary target. Whether we like it or not, when you Liverpool, almost first choice song to improve their midfield. But out of desperation and out of a necessity, they have been forced to break into another market and look for a player who fits the profile or more. And to move away, my friend is a desperate but necessary move. Why is it so? Desperate because they have missed out on their top target in Enzo. Moises Caicedo, Romeo Lavia. Then they move to Endo Wataru. Now after this, and yet enough available players in the world, top enough at Liverpool. Say the classes of midfielders and Komo Peno, Kessie Pano. I don't think that if Chouameni was available, now Wataru Endo so available. Liverpool will go for Wataru Endo. So there are no top primary or classy talent available now. So what do? As a short-term gap, Yankonkofa Weno and Fambeshim na improve and solve some of the needs in our team as we look for a future rebuild. So when we did 30 years, he's replacing players who are over 30 or who are near 30. Or maybe Liverpool team him. Fabinho, Jordan Henderson, James Milner. We know will likely replace one of them or two of them based on the profile. Yebeba the profile in eso. So when we yano, yamfa we mbeshem nen sorti ya kakra. Ansana dachi be say option be bana or quality ya kosi ya kwakoto. What would this mean? They are getting him for 20 million euros guaranteed plus add-ons a bit me rise through 5 million. Add-ons na nye guarantees a depending player and the performance ne clauses are or modi shishim. He's 30 years. Wabodi Ama Japan played at the World Cup. Excellent center back, defensive midfielder. He's an all-round player if you want to look at him this way. One, let's start with ne combative nature. You can't be a combative. Next, watching a park, next one. Or the Nohusha game, he's almost involved in every duel that you expect. In Tomoma and the heat map now, at the World Cup, you can see that he was actively involved in the defensive half of Ononi team, especially the right-hand side. And then, or the Brem debate in Kakra, but he didn't really progress forward because at Japan, he was mostly used as a center back and then operated in transitions as a defensive midfielder. And to baby or Taibo Pano, Ocean a passing so na. Who say or pass the call right because of baby or Tage na.
Yes.
Or you're right-footed. And to Ajebo na, he operates to the left side when the passing in A. He's not really a good passer. But he's an okay passer who is cool. For the Liverpool, I don't think they need a top passer to improve their setup. They just need somebody in the middle who is combative and brings energy and drive. And I think in Wataru Endo, they will get somebody like that. Then it moves to the defensive statistics. If you move to the next slide. This is the Bundesliga for the 2022-2023 season. The ranking based on various defensive metrics, and or tackles. He was ranked 15th overall for Bundesliga midfielders over 30 games. 70 tackles and 15th in the Bundesliga for tackles. Duels won. Number 6. And to on-time tackles, Musa. That is why he was ranked 15th. But duels, it means buga until he was ranked 6th in the Bundesliga. Liverpool needs somebody like that, a fighter in the middle of a pack. And in getting this guy, they get somebody closer to the primary targets they were looking for. Ball recoveries, 18th, which is 231 ball recoveries. Possessions won in the final third. So our backward opponent now winning possession, pressing and winning possession. Or a rank 12 in the Bundesliga. And successful block passes, or a rank number 14. So he's not an excellent defensive midfielder, but he will prove to be an effective defensive midfielder if he's able to adjust and adapt to their coach. Then the offensive attribute, and that is why I think he's better than Enzo, he's better than Caicedo, he's better than Lavia per the offensive metrics. Yep. Okay, offensively, Caicedo anyway, because they contribute mostly to the defensive aspect. But I can't answer me say we all round. So in terms of the offensive contributions, he scored 3 goals from outside the box. He was ranked 4th in the Bundesliga. Last season in the Bundesliga, only 4 players and they created more chances from open play than him. Jamal Musiala, Musa Diaby, Dominic Szoboszlai, and Rafael Guerreiro. Omuno created chances from open play more than he did. He's ranked number 5 in that aspect. Created 46 chances as a defensive midfielder, as a centre back. I think this is an impressive start. True balls completed, ranked number 11th in the Bundesliga. Final third passes completed 14th. So if Liverpool also need him to add to a more offensive build-up play, he's somebody who can do that job. So I think that an all-round player, and there are certain things about Asian players that we always look out for. Omo character, their work ethic. You expect an Asian player to commit to the team's cause against Omo individual. So I was also sacrificing Obeye. So if Liverpool get him to replicate form and no warm last season, at the more, I think they will be good to go. They might not get the bigger names, the stellar names, the Ebema Utria boom, but they will get somebody who is a low key and can still do a good job. Because it is better than McAllister playing as a deep lying midfielder. Unya Endua. Better than McAllister say Obo as a DM.
Sir.
Yes. So they get somebody to do the job for them now. As to say Obetimi Ayama na bro Dianka Caicedo mo Bayern so de Emre and Nkrabia and Obetimi Achedia Maye. Bayern are still in search of a goalkeeper and a lead omu to Israel. They are getting an Israeli goalkeeper. OTD ni baby a goalkeeper ni free bar. Your friend Daniel Perret. Kaobe ruling it out. But you also need to look at his contributions and what Bayern Munich want. What do Bayern want? They want a young goalkeeper. Unfair pressure who will not come and make outrageous demands. 7% start here every game. And also has more room for improvement. And that is Daniel Perret. Only 23 years. But he's had a fast-growing career for Maccabi Tel Aviv. And then even the Israeli national team. Israel for under 21 now. By European Championship. He was their goalkeeper. The attribute Kessie Pano a penalty saving. So you can't goalkeepers who save penalties way en route to the 2023 European Under 21 Championship. Israel for the playoff against Ireland. Or 3 penalties don't answer the winning penalty in the qualifier. This was in their first game against defending champions Germany. Or save 2 penalties. Then Ebwa Momunya 1-1 draw, push them up top. Bayern feel when they get an expensive player they will get him on the low. And then they can also develop his game. They just needed some key spots and add some key points here. The go ahead said this is somebody that we can go for. And then they are so clearly they think that they are closer to finding a goalkeeper who in the future could prove to be their new number 1.
This is your German passport.
Yeah, or German passport. So they will not have to struggle to feed him into a team. In terms of they allow for players or nationals and nationals according to EU. Then Rodri has become the most important Manchester City player in the last 12-15 months. But it's unfortunate, sir. But even aside the human now, he is doing Nyoma Nanka Rodri. which is contributing to goal scoring. Endra, he gave an assist. Wabra, Man City clawed back into the game to win via penalty shootout. And I think that Dianca De Bruyne, he's starting to add that to his game. He scored in the Champions League final, the winner. Man City this trophy for the first time. The crucial game against Bayern, he gave them a beautiful goal in the first leg. So Ocean Yome SCC now. Rodri has improved on his defensive aspect of the game. Your name is as a DM. Then he's adding some offensive contributions, which are also proving very pivotal. To me, some year ranking was City team anymore. I think the most important players now, may the Rodri Bedi Kane, may the Bernardo Silva Babe Tosumieno. Even before I come to De Bruyne, then come to Erling Haaland. Haaland for the few games any profile, no games name he will score the goals. But in the big games, check it, you can mark it. All the big games he's played for City, he has barely showed up. It is because he's easy to mark out. And when things gets to crunch, say when push gets to shove, you don't really find Haaland. These are the players who step up and then deliver for them. We evolve it in the all-round game, and then he's had an enhanced offensive metrics. But are we surprised? No. That is what Pep Guardiola does. And check it. It is a trademark. He improves every player. But there is one distinct thing. Defensive midfielder, he makes you a world-class player. Yes. Barcelona and Sergio Busquets. Busquets, it was because of Pep Guardiola. Pep Nankasa was cast in that mode. Defensive midfielder. But Oyusu Nadrene more than the physical strength. And that was what Busquets represented. The perfect epitome of a defensive midfielder. On Sonwa, Onya Bully. But in the middle of the park, he guarded it with intelligence and distributed everything equally. To say the essence and the fata. O free Barca no call Bayern no. Check Joshua Kimmich. Kimmich was naturally a 23 Stuttgart by his own right back no. Although said no a versatile. But to assert himself as a defensive midfielder, we are seeing in Argentina no. It started with Pep. Away from that, to Manchester City, Fernandinho and then Rodri. So if Rodri is who he is today, it is because Pep Guardiola has the Midas touch to transform players to world beaters.
Hi, Memo Akwaba Ediaba K Sports on YouTube so na madawase. Say the video tuma utimbehe channel swame. Say ahaye dwumade ye di nyina ne say ye the football analysis rumors de ekoso ne atapoku eka de kwaku Edelson eka de Kwame de la the fishbone also etimi eka e de fa Chelsea ho Man U ho Barcelona ho Madrid ho ne ekoso de kwotwi eka obreman ni nyina no yetimi e de ba be somo all platform we so eno nti wo paso a no otimi subscribe to the channel no one like video no na wa drop a comment section na enema etimi aye kama ye de tum wo kire wadwene na me kire madwene e na ema adwuma no aye kama eno nti K Sports there eye me no dia subscribe na like na drop a comment woni atapoku eye adwene woni kwaku Ederson eye adwene woni Kwame de la the fishbone de all kan nyina no ono omo ye adwene na mate wonka comment section ho na enema etimi akoyi pa medi e de Kobe and I'll be to my friend Kobe Finest aha eye K Sports on YouTube.